of Real Estate School for Success, broker in charge of the Palmetto Success Team, and author of Success in Real Estate. If you're interested in buying or selling a home, investing in real estate, or becoming a real estate agent, you'll enjoy the Success in Real Estate Show on FM News and Talk 100.1 WVOC. Now, here's Frankie Griffin.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, broker in charge and real estate educator here in South Carolina. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I got several things I want to talk about. I am in studio by myself, but we're going to be talking about some tips I want to provide to anybody looking at buying or selling a house. That's sort of going to be my focus today, and answering any questions you may have. So if you'd like to give me a call today, anything real estate, certainly give me a call. The number here in studio is 978-9862. Again, 978-9862, and I will certainly do my best to answer your question. Well, each week, obviously, this show is brought to you by the Real Estate School for Success, and if you've thought about a career in real estate or getting your real estate license, we would love to at least talk to you about helping you in this endeavor, because we are very proud of what we have to offer. We do things, I believe, much differently than what other schools may do. I think what we have is top notch. Obviously, I wouldn't say it any other way, but I do. I think we're very proud of what our students are able to go out and accomplish. In fact, my videographer, which is always in studio with me, Jerry Bilton, actually went out and videoed a few of our former students and talking about the success that they have already achieved. And it's just remarkable, and how good it makes me feel to see how successful they are. And we'll actually have those videos to you here very shortly. We're still trying to put them all together. We want it to look just right. But I'm sure you'll be happy with the results, and we want to help you if that's something you'd be interested in. We have real estate classes all the time. You can take them either during the weekday, if that'll work out for you. If you've got a job and you need to work during the day, then we've got some weeknight classes. We've also got weekend classes. But we can put together a schedule just for you. It's the state requires 60 hours, and we'll make sure you get every bit that you are supposed to have. Just want to make sure you get off to a very successful start, but love for you to check us out. In fact, you can just go to our website, and I think you'll find most of the information you need right there. Our website is www.realestateschoolforsuccess.com. Again, realestateschoolforsuccess.com. But a couple of classes we've actually got coming up. In fact, on Monday, I'll be teaching a class here in Columbia. It's the final sales, or the 30-hour post-license training for anybody that may have their provisional license and want to go ahead and get that upgraded. We would love to go ahead and get you in this class. I will tell you, it's about full. I think I was looking at it this morning. We've got 4 or 5 seats still available, but love to have you in one of them. Again, you can go to our website and you can sign up there, or you can just show up Monday. But I will say, if you wait till Monday, you may be taking a chance on not getting a seat. So might want to go to our website, sign up online, www.realestateschoolforsuccess.com. And then I also wanted to mention next month, I think it's going to be about the third weekend of next month, we're going to be beginning our appraisal classes again. So anybody interested in getting their appraisal license, keep checking. We don't have the classes scheduled, or not scheduled. They're not posted on our website, but they should be there by Monday. So I'm just letting you know, middle to the end of next month in July, that's when they're going to start. And when I say they're going to start, there's actually 9 classes you would have to have for the appraisal license. They call them QE1, excuse me, right on through QE9. But if you take the first 3, QE1, 2, and 3, then you can go ahead and start your apprenticeship, and that is a state or legal requirement. You will have to be an apprentice for I think it's a couple of years before you can go out on your own to do appraisals. But you can start appraising, or at least doing your apprenticeship, after you finish the first 3. And we typically do 1 class per month, and it's usually on a weekend. And QE1 will be starting up this coming month or in July. So you don't want to miss out on this because it takes about 9 months to go all the way through all the classes. So if you miss one, now you got to wait several months to get that class. But if you do miss one, it's not that big a deal because none of them build on top of the other. These are 9 standalone classes, so you don't have to have them in order, but you do have to have the first 3 completed before you can start your apprenticeship. So again, if you're thinking about getting into appraisal, or if you know somebody thinking about getting into it, certainly let them know that we're going to be starting up next month in July with QE1. So we certainly want to get those first 3 out of the way. Again, just go to our website. These classes will be posted by Monday, the appraisal classes, that is. But go to our website, again, realestateschoolforsuccess.com. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let's get this first break out of the way. But when we come back, what I want to talk about are some things that I think are very important for either buyer or sellers to be thinking about. Because we want to make sure when you buy and sell, you put yourself in a win-win situation. Because I'm going to tell you, there are some very bad decisions, and they're made usually because of lack of knowledge. And so that's the purpose of today's show. Love for you to call in if you have any questions at all. I'd love to help you. The number is 978-9862. Again, 978-9862. You're listening to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin on FM News and Talk 100.1 WVOC. All right, good morning again. Welcome back. I'm Frankie Griffin, broker in charge and real estate educator. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I want to talk about some things I believe is information you need to understand when you're going to be buying or selling a house. But before I get into that, I would like to tell you about Tim Mosley with Carolina Conditions. He's a heating and air company. Does an awesome job. If you need somebody to come out and check your heating and air unit, or maybe you're buying a house and you need a HVAC letter, Tim is the person you want to call, because he's not just going to go out there and make sure it's working, if I can say it that way. He wants to make sure that it's working efficiently, that it's working the way it's supposed to work. You've got clean air in your house, and he is a clean air person. Make sure the ducts are sealed. Everything is just right. He does such an awesome job. Give him a call if you have any need. Again, Tim Mosley, owner of Carolina Conditions. His number is 233-7172. Again, 233-7172. And if you couldn't write that down, or any of our real estate partners, if you go to our website, realestateschoolforsuccess.com, click on the radio page, and then you'll see another link there for our real estate partners, and they're all listed. They're all listed there, and along with their websites, telephone numbers, contact information. We want to get you in touch with the best people possible. Anyway, that's our goal. But if you're thinking about buying a house or certainly selling a house, I would love the honor and opportunity just to talk to you about that, possibly and hopefully even represent you in selling or buying a home. I believe we've got an awful lot to offer because we specialize in key areas of real estate. And when I say specialized, what I'm talking about is this. There are a lot of real estate agents that have their license and can legally help or represent buyers and sellers. But then you've got other agents that really just like to carry their representation to a whole nother level, a different plateau, if you will, because they specialized in, for example, buyer representation. Because there's such a big difference between buying a house and selling a house. and what the needs are for both. And there's significant training out there available to agents. It's not required training, so therefore a lot of agents just opt not to take it, I guess. But I think you need it. I think it's just kind of like hiring a physician. If you need help in a medical area, you certainly want to hire the physician that is specialized in the area that you're concerned with. And I don't think real estate should be any different. I really don't. But I am an accredited buyer's representative, which means I have been specialized in buyer representation. Excuse me. And along with seller representation, because there's just such a big difference. And we would love to help you with that. At least give us a shot. Let us talk to you about it, give you some ideas, some things to think about so that you can make an informed decision. The best way probably to contact me is by email, and you can do that by sending an email to Frankie, that's Frankie, at frankiegriffin.com. Again, Frankie at frankiegriffin.com, and I will get back in touch with you shortly, and we'll work out a time we can sit down and talk about whether you're buying or selling a house. Love to help you with that. In fact, if you're thinking about buying right now, I do have several properties that I've listed, and I'll talk about a few of them throughout the show, but one of them I'll just tell you we've got, and this is such a sweet deal, but it's 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's only 8 years old, but it looks brand new. It's got a new roof, termite bond, and the owner just wants to sell. She's actually moving away, and she's willing to leave all her furniture. And this is very nice furniture, by the way. It's very nice, but she's just going to leave it. If you want it, if you don't want it, she'll haul it off. But only $79,000. That is a sweet deal for a fully furnished house. It is 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. Again, if you would like to take a look at this, just give me a call, or you can send me an email if you like. Again, Frankie at frankiegriffin.com. Love to help you out there. And one of the things I want to talk about, and by the way, let me give you the phone number to call into the studio if you have any questions. The number is 978-9862. Again, 978-9862. Love to hear from you. But here's something that I think if you are selling your house that really needs to be considered, and or at least things I talked to the seller about prior to putting the house on the market. And one of the questions I like to ask is, seller, when you purchased your home, did you buy title insurance when you bought the home? And I find most people say they did. And not that I don't believe anybody, that's certainly not the case. But what I'm finding, a very high percentage of homeowners that think they bought title insurance did not buy it. Or what they bought is not what they really need in a lot of cases. Because when it comes to title insurance, there's actually 2 different policies. You've got a lender's policy, which basically means if should the homeowner default on their loan and not make their payments, then the insurance will pay off the loss to the lender. But there's also another policy called the owner's policy, and you really need both, because if you're borrowing money to buy a house, you will buy a lender's policy. It's not optional. In fact, they don't even ask you about it or talk to you about it. It's just you will pay for that. But in most cases, the owner's policy is optional. And a lot of times that may not be included when you buy the policy. And the reason that's so important, and this is not uncommon, where there are defects in title. So you just never know when you buy a house, if you could possibly get a knock at your front door, even though you've owned that house for 20, 30, 40 years, and maybe it's even paid for by now. It's possible you could get a knock on your front door by someone saying that you're in their home and asking you to leave. And when that happens, means there was some defect in title, which, long story short, means you bought the property illegally. Whoever you bought it from could not legally sell it or convey it to you, but here now you own it, or you've been making payments on it, and now you're getting a pink slip, if you will, asking you to leave. Well, if that should happen, first of all, you will be leaving if you bought the house illegally or if the title was defective when you bought it. And I've got several common reasons for this, and we'll talk about what these reasons would be. But what I want you to understand is if you are forced out of your house, then any monies or equity you had built up in the house, you're going to lose that unless you had an owner's policy. So one of the things that I want to talk to sellers about before it goes on the market, I think it's very important to know whether or not the seller bought an owner's policy when they bought the house. Because some other things, or another very critical piece of this, is when you go to sell your house, there's a couple different types of deeds that can be used when the seller actually conveys the property over to the buyer. They'll either use a general warranty deed, or in some cases they'll use a special warranty deed. And the difference basically is this: if you use a general warranty deed, what you're telling the buyer is that you are personally guaranteeing any defect in title that should ever come up or present itself, either in the past or in the future. So that's an awful lot of guarantees if you're the seller, and especially if you did not have an owner's title insurance policy. So what I would prefer to do in this case, if I am representing the seller, I'll just make sure when we get an offer from the buyer, the contract must stipulate that we're going to be conveying the property with a special warranty deed, or a lot of times you hear even attorneys refer to it as a limited warranty deed, where now the seller is just saying that they're only guaranteeing that nobody else gained interest or ownership of this property while I owned it. That's all I'm guaranteeing. But if you sell your house with a general warranty deed, now you're making every possible and future guarantee against title defect, either in the past or in the present. See, you just never know what may have happened or took place with title or that property prior to your ownership. So I just think it's an awful lot of liability to sell your house using the wrong type of deed. So these kind of things are very important, which is where, in my opinion, the good representation from a good agent will actually will help you in the long run to try to, if you're going to take on that kind of liability, at least make sure you're insured in case there are any damages in the future. If not, then we're going to use the special, which limits the liability, and I think a lot better for the seller if that's the case. And by the way, in the contracts we typically use here in the Midlands, it's already pre-printed in the contract where it says seller will convey with a general warranty deed, which means you're making all these guarantees and warranties. So all the more important to make sure you have the right title insurance. But we need to go ahead and take our bottom of the hour break. And then on the other side, I'm going to talk about what some of the most common issues with title insurance would be. But we'd love to answer any questions you may have. Give me a call. The number is 978-9862. Again, 978-9862. You're listening to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin on FM News and Talk 100.1 WVOC. All right, good morning again. Welcome back to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, broker in charge and real estate educator. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, where I'm talking about some just information, tips, if you will, that I think will come in very useful if you're buying or selling a house. But I would like to just say this too. If you're thinking about selling your house, if you want to get traffic, if you want to get buyers to come look at the house, it must start with good-looking, very professional photos of your property. And I know most agents, they have cameras. I mean, who doesn't have a camera where you can go out and take pictures? But we did a show here a few weeks ago about this. But there's a big difference between an image and a photograph. And photographs really look nice. They tell the story of the house, and it's a very big turn on for buyers. And obviously, most buyers today are looking online for houses they may be interested in. And what are they going to be looking at? The photos or the pictures. And it's just imperative that you have professional looking photos. That's why I always have my buddy Jerry Bilton goes out on all houses that I list and takes the photos. He does a great job. I learned that there's a big difference in what I do and what he does. First of all, when I went out to take pictures, I could do it in 10 minutes, 15 minutes if it was a big house. But Jerry's he's going to be out there probably a couple hours or so making sure every single shot is just perfect. Just looks so much better. So if I see a house online for sale for $200,000, I want to see something in that photo that looks like it's worth $200,000. Does a great job. Go check out his work, if you will. He's got several houses that he's already done on his website. It's just www.imagesbyeagle.com. Again, imagesbyeagle.com, or just give him a call. His number is 803-331-9035. Again, 331-9035. I promise you will not be disappointed. In fact, I'll just tell you, for every house out there, most of them, you're looking about $150 to get professional photos. Great package deal right there. All right, well, let's go straight to our phone lines, where right now we've got Erica on the line. How you doing, Erica?
I'm well, and yourself, Frankie?
Oh, I am so blessed today because Erica's on the line.
Oh, you're sweet. I don't know what it's like in South Carolina because I'm in Kentucky for a wedding, but it's beautiful here.
Kentucky?
I'm in Kentucky.
Good grief, girl, and you calling in here working?
Of course.
Gee whiz. Well, y'all, for those of you who don't recognize the voice, Erica West, she's a mortgage consultant with Movement Mortgage. In fact, she is my mortgage go-to gal. Just incredible the knowledge you have, and I can't thank you enough for what you do for me, for my clients. So if you're thinking about buying a house or refinancing, obviously Erica is the person you need to talk to. Whether you decide to use her or not, that's up to you, but you're doing yourself a terrible disservice not to talk to her. But, sweetie, what's going on in finance? Anything good today?
Anything good? Well, rates are staying the same. We're seeing them kind of bobble a little bit, but they're still low. Everything it seems to be like this is maybe where it's going to be for the next couple of weeks. And, of course, I say that, and then Monday they do something drastic. But they're, high threes. That's still wonderful.
Absolutely.
I mean, those are still wonderful rates. And the market is picking up. But one thing I have noticed is that inventory is going very quickly.
Yes.
Very, very quickly. So if they're agents on the phone that have clients that are looking, or they've been pre-qualified but they haven't necessarily committed, this week will be the time to call them and pull up what's available and get them to look and make a commitment, because they are going so quickly.
Absolutely. And obviously when you see inventory start depleting the way it has, that's going to cause home values to go up. Mm-hmm. Again, that's all supply and demand. So if you're thinking about buying, now's the time. Get off that fence and let's get busy.
Absolutely.
And one thing I wanted to see if you would be willing to share, because I know this is something you and I have sort of talked about over the last couple of weeks. But if you could just talk maybe in general terms, there are a lot of people out there that maybe have no credit or not good credit, and it seems like no credit's worse than bad credit.
Yeah, it is.
Is that true?
It is in a sense, because what you're telling the bank or the lender is that there is really no benchmark to be able to judge your ability to repay debt, which is important when you're looking to borrow $100,000 or more. And that's what a credit score is ultimately there to determine. what is your capacity for being able to repay debt, whether that be a car loan, student loans, revolving credit, and that's why a credit score is important.
Yeah.
And so, and I know that most people out there, most of them say, well, I don't want credit. I've heard that, people can get into trouble. Right. The purpose of credit is not to live on credit. The purpose of credit is to set a credit history, to define you as a worthy borrower.
Yep.
And so the first thing I would tell people, if you have no credit, get a secured credit card. It's the easiest way to get credit when you either have poor credit or no credit. And it's like a prepaid credit card. So you would give your own money as a deposit, as collateral, and you'd be borrowing your own money.
Mm-hmm.
Use it once a month for something that you already have to spend money on. When the bill comes in, pay it off.
Awesome.
That will definitely start to report a positive credit history and establish some depth as your ability to repay debt.
And another thing, we were talking about an individual, was it last week? I guess it was, but
yes,
where we could possibly use rent payments over a period of time.
Yes, there are. That's absolutely true. There are. We call those non-traditional trade lines, and all that means is there are certain things that you may be paying for, such as car insurance, or renter's insurance, or a gym membership, your cell phone, and those are credit lines that don't automatically report to the credit bureaus, which is why it doesn't impact or improve or affect your credit score. What we can do are there are certain programs or banks or lenders that have what we call a minimum trade line requirement. And so you may only have one credit card and you've had it for 5 years and you have a 780 credit score, but maybe there may be someone out there who won't qualify you because you don't have more than one trade line. You can use something like a rental payment or a gym membership or your cell phone, car insurance, rental insurance. What we usually run into is usually those are in parents' names.
Yeah.
So that is something else that I would get out there is to put some things in your name. Your cell phone, your car insurance, for example. Set those up on automatic draft so that you are automatically creating a good payment history. So if we needed to add them to your credit report, we can do so.
Awesome. Well, I think that is wonderful advice. And if we're looking at buying a house, how can we get in touch with you?
You can reach me at 803-528-5019. You can email me at erica.west@movementmortgage.com, or you can find me on Facebook. Just search for the Mortgage Go-To Gal and please like my page.
Yeah, please do. If you're on Facebook, you've got to check out her Facebook page. Again, Mortgage Go-To Gal, and there's so much good information. And what you put stuff on there, seems like several times a day in a lot of cases.
Sometimes.
Jeez. But anyway.
Whenever I find good information that I think the public needs to see, I go ahead and post it.
Awesome. Well, sweetie, I hope you have a safe trip home. When you coming home?
Tomorrow.
All right. Well, hurry up. We got work to do.
That's right. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right, sweetie. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, y'all. That's Erica West with Movement Mortgage. And if you couldn't capture her contact information, or Jerry Bilton, as I was talking about him a little bit earlier with Eagle Photography, just go to our website, realestateschoolforsuccess.com. Click on radio, and there you'll see a list of all our real estate partners. All their contact information is right there. They'll certainly do you a great job. I feel very good about that. Well, before the break, we were talking about, or I was talking about, the title insurance, and the reason it's so important to make sure you have the right type of title insurance, like an owner's policy. I actually printed out, I don't know, I'm not going to have time to go through all of them, but the top 10 reasons that people have title problems. And number one they've got here is just errors in the public record. Y'all, sometimes when things are recorded, they're either partially recorded or not everything is recorded the way it's supposed to be, or sometimes it just gets lost or misplaced. And now when the attorney is doing their title search, again, all they can do is search the public record. And if there's something that's not there, then they're not going to know about it. And that can cause problems with your title. And that's the last thing we want to happen. Another common problem is when we have missing heirs. For example, if a property owner dies and in the will they're leaving their property to a particular person, one of their heirs, a lot of times that heir may not be available, or we can't find the heirs at the time of death, and all kind of things can happen then. But say, for example, the house should eventually just get sold to some other individual, and now this individual's been living here for years and making payments, maybe even have it paid for now, and all of a sudden the missing heirs show up. And now you've got to turn that house or property back over to the missing heir. Several problems that I want to go through here real quick, but I do need to go ahead and get this last break out of the way. So let me just go ahead and do that right now. But I certainly would love to hear from you. We've only got one more segment coming up, but give me a call. The number is 978-9862. Again, 978-9862. You're listening to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin on FM News and Talk 100.1 WVOC. All right, good morning again, and welcome back to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, broker in charge and real estate educator. Thank you for joining me this morning, where I'm talking about some tips for buyers and sellers of real estate, and would love to talk to you, answer any questions you have, if it's about real estate, buying or selling, or maybe getting a real estate license, or maybe you've got a question on something a real estate agent has done or should have done or shouldn't have done. We'd love to talk to you, try to answer any questions you have. Give us a call. We're in our last segment now, so you need to hurry up. But the number is 978-9862. 978-9862. And I got to just tell you, if you're thinking about buying a house, first of all, I would love to help you with that. We've got some things that I think you would just absolutely love if you're buying a house. We can help streamline this process. We can help make sure we identify the exact property, precise property you like, without having to look at 10, 15, 20 different houses. It'd be kind of difficult to explain over the radio how we do that, but I would love to sit down and talk to you, show you how we do that, and I know you'll be very pleased with it. But I will just, while I can, I've got another property I'll just mention to you. It's over in West, in fact, it's in Quail Hollow. Very nice subdivision, has been for many years. But we've got a house here it's actually got 4 bedrooms, 3 full baths. It's got an office. It's got the formal living rooms, the formal dining rooms. It's got a screened-in porch, 2-car garage. I mean, you name it. This is a very nice home. Just recently painted inside and out, so fresh paint, new carpet. I mean, it looks great. It's an awesome home for $201,000. So right at $200,000. What an incredible deal. Love to show it to you. Again, if you have any questions about this or just my services, I'd love to talk to you. Just shoot me an email. My email is Frankie@frankiegriffin.com. Again, Frankie@frankiegriffin.com. And one of the things that, obviously, if you're thinking about buying a house that you certainly want to do shortly after you enter into a contract, you want to have the house inspected. So you want to have a home inspector. And highly recommend David DeBose. He owns DeBose Home Inspection. Dave's been doing this for many years. In fact, he actually teaches the home inspector course for other inspectors. He's the president of the Home Inspectors Association. He is just so knowledgeable when it comes to doing home inspections. Highly recommend him. Give him a call if this is something you'd be interested in. His number is 276-3250. Again, 276-3250. And he'll go right out and conduct that inspection. It's a great report, by the way. It's easy to read. His comments are right on target, so you know exactly, if he writes something up, what the problems are. He does a great job. But one of the things I would just caution buyers, a little tip for buyers right now, especially as we are now moving into a seller's market. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of real estate agents have never worked in a seller's market. because we've been in a huge buyer's market for about the last 5, 6, maybe even 7 years now. This is just a whole nother ball game. So buyers have sort of had their way with sellers over the last several years. Well, that's changing. Just like Erica West mentioned, with the inventory going down, more buyers are on the market. Again, it goes back to that supply and demand, where now the homeowner or the seller has a little more control over this process. One of the last things you want to do now, if you're a home buyer, is try to take this home inspection, no matter who does the inspection, and send it back to the seller and requesting them to basically make this 15, 20-year-old home brand new again. That's just not reasonable. Sellers are not going to accept that today. And when I say make it new, what happens, you hired a home inspector, they're going to write up every little nitpicking thing. That's what you hired them to do, so that's what they're going to do. The only thing that I feel like buyers should be concerned about, if it's present, or what we would call a material defect, like a leak in roof or leak in pipes, or if something's broke, that's one thing. But if it's a cosmetic defect, like the floor, the carpet's old, or whatever, those are things that can be easily fixed. These are cosmetic things, and the last thing you want to do is irritate the seller. And if you want to irritate the seller, send that whole inspection back and say, we want you to fix everything on this home inspection. They're going to reject your offer, and they're going to send you back out on the road again, because we're moving into a different market right now. So you want to be very, very careful with what you're asking for. Again, if it's a 10-year-old home, there's going to be some wear and tear. That's the way it's going to be. So buyer, if you're expecting the seller to deliver the house in mint condition, then you need to be talking to a builder probably in that case, and then good luck getting a brand new home in mint condition, believe it or not. So anyway, just a tip for the buyer. But again, I'm not saying ignore the home inspection. If there are problems with it, then you got to deal with that. And by the way, seller, you certainly want to fix things if the buyer sends you that inspection, because now you've got knowledge of all kind of defects, and now that has to be disclosed if the buyer should decide to walk away from the deal. Well, we're about to run out of time, but thank you so much for joining us today. I just hope there's something that maybe I can help you with. Again, my email address is frankie@frankiegriffin.com. Again, frankie@frankiegriffin.com. Or if you'd like to give me a call, I'll give you my cell number. It's 803-315-7303. 315-7303. Again, thank you for listening. You've been listening to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin on FM News and Talk 100.1 WVOC.